If it's in Esterville, it's freaking here.
Maybe, but I just know Mediacom's absolute garbage.
It's the best thing around.
It's the best around, but they're still garbage. Speaking of best around and being garbage, hi everybody. Welcome to episode 30 of Uncalled.
Did you just call them garbage?
I called us garbage.
I don't take that garbage.
I called us garbage.
Don't take that crap from him.
I'm
Dude,
saying
do not
that,
accept this from him, everyone.
I'm saying that I'm saying we're the best, but we're also garbage.
We're the best of garbage.
Yes.
So does that mean we're the most cleanly recyclable things, or we are the smelliest, nastiest garbage?
We're the best garbage.
That didn't answer my question.
I really did not answer the question at all.
We're the non-smelly.
Bye, Terraria.
Although I still don't have my scent fully back from COVID, so I can't confirm or deny if we are smelly or not.
You smell bad.
Oh.
It's true.
I'll just let you know.
Okay. Well,
Yep.
Sorry.
Garbage.
Should be.
I mean, I showered before I went to bed last night, but not when I woke up.
We could tell.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
This whole room
Well,
just smells like baked beans.
I do use that as body wash, so
Yeah, you wash your hair with it, right?
if I had hair, yeah. I wash my beard with it.
There you go.
Baked beans, yeah. We just, I just take a bucket in the shower with me, just scoop it up, full double fist in it, and we're just scrubbing with
You
the
were
beans.
projecting with that last
We're-
story,
we
weren't
were-
you?
I just exfoliate with baked beans every day, I mean, it has a nice smoky, manly scent to it. So I just figured, if we're going to do it with anything, it might as well be baked beans. But anyways, guys, welcome to episode 30 of Uncalled For, where every single week there would be
This
four
crap
of us.
happens.
Yeah, this crap happens.
There would be four of us that get together, but
One died.
Logan is dead. So the last show that we had was actually, 2 weeks ago? Logan actually had COVID during that show, and we didn't know. And then now Logan is also sick because he has the stomach flu. So this guy can just not stay healthy. He is just perpetually dead. Is that fair to say?
Well, I'm a lich, so I'm perpetually dead as well. So.
I mean, you have been.
He's in the
dead
grave.
multiple times. That is fair, but I
just don't go back into the grave that often. So
Logan seems to go into the grave quite a bit, which is why we have the Rip Logan sign
He's weak.
in his spot because, obviously he's not here. So
The weakness of the immune system.
before we get started, first of all, happy birthday, Terraria.
Yeah,
It
happy
is-
birthday.
I know for him right now, being in Australia, it's technically the 4th, but for us here, it is still the 3rd.
We live inside your past.
That's a scary
Perpetually.
thought. I don't want to be in Terraria's past.
But also the future.
Well, wouldn't he be in the future?
No, he's in
No.
the present.
So how are we in his future if we're also in his past?
Because we're ahead of him.
But we're behind him by
But
like
we are
16
ahead
and a
still.
half hours. Or 15,
Because he already
14 and a
had
half
his
hours.
birthday, but now it's continuing on and we're having his birthday again here.
So this is his next birthday.
No,
Or
it's his
his
last
same.
one.
This is his last birthday?
We are
Are you saying that he's going to die?
No, I'm saying the previous one.
perpetually
Oh.
in his past, but also his
Don't
future,
put
which
words in
is
my
the
mouth that I
present.
didn't put there.
Well, when you go, no, this is his last birthday, that makes it seem a little ominous, don't you think?
He might die.
Actually, it's really common for people
Don't
to
die,
die
Terraria.
near their birthdays, but do not die on us.
Terraria, if you die, we will kill you. Simple as that.
No,
That's how it works.
no, we're going to bring him back and then kill him again. Is what you really.
Well, I mean, we will kill him if he dies. So that's how that's going to work. But anyways, we'll start with my topic because I feel like by the time this comes out on YouTube, it's going to be, more relevant because it is a timed thing. CES starts in 2 days on the 5th.
Yep.
So, Dan, you can take part in this conversation if you'd like, if there's anything you want to throw in. But I know. But what are you looking forward to with CES? Because you know that AMD is going to be there, NVIDIA is going to be there, Intel's going to be there. Like the big powerhouses.
Mm-hmm.
We do know that, well, not know for a fact, but we are 99% sure that AMD is going to be announcing their Ryzen 6000, which is going to use DDR5, which is going to be...
Dance Dance Revolution.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to be playing Dance Dance Revolution.
That's what I thought.
We're rising to the top. Terraria says Intel's GPU is going to be there. That'll be interesting. So that means there's going to be 3 GPUs or 3 companies with GPUs, Intel, AMD, and NVIDIA. AMD is making one with Samsung. They're working with Samsung for their new GPUs, for the dies for that, so that's going to be interesting. But what are you looking forward to?
Honestly, at this point, I'm more just looking forward to what answers they're going to have to the issues of the past year or so. You know?
Yeah.
I've seen so many blunders with how they've had to actually handle this. It's not really blunders on their parts necessarily as it is with the economy and
The whole
everything's
market right now,
working.
yeah.
I consider the entire market to be a fumble at this point. So I'm excited to see how they're planning to tackle that issue.
Hire more people.
I don't think it's a hired of people issue though with the chipset because they can't get the silicon. Like they can't produce the chips fast enough. So it's not a hiring of people, which actually TSMC, they are making an entire new factory in, I think, is it Arizona, if I remember correctly.
Is it Arizona?
It's some
somewhere down
desert.
there.
It's a desert state. I think it's Arizona. They have an entire factory, but that won't be in production until they won't be producing out of that until 2023 or 2024.
Yeah, it's going to be a while for that.
So we have a
But
little bit to go
even
there.
before then, they have to come out with some type of a marketing strategy.
They got to do something.
That's part of something they're going to have to bring out here because in order to actually make these new ideas or products marketable, they have to be able to, have those products. So I'm interested to see how they're actually planning to bring those out.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, yeah, you're right.
They're not.
Speaking of products that they could have out, there's a rumor that NVIDIA is going to announce a 3090 Ti.
Yeah.
Because the 3090 isn't overkill
Don't you
enough
mean
already.
Thai?
Yeah, 3090 Ti. My bad.
Yeah, it is technically Thai. I don't call
Thai.
it.
Screw it.
Fine.
I'm never calling it a Ti.
Let's be real.
It is Arizona. I was right. So, no, I don't know why. Why a 3090 Ti like that? It's overkill already. For gamers, it's not needed. Maybe for video production, but then at that point, you're looking at getting a Quadro.
I was
going to
say you're looking at a different style altogether.
You're looking at an entirely different thing at that point, which there's no point in getting the 3090 Ti. Because even when people say, "Oh, I'm going to get a 3090 for my gaming rig," I just go, "You're an idiot. You don't need it. It's the same thing as a 3080, but with what is it? It goes from 16 to 24 gigs, or is it double? Is it 12 to 24?
I'm pretty sure it's 20.
I thought I had 24 gigs of VRAM. Either way, it's way overkill.
I have to remember, I've read
games.
so many different stats over the past few days.
Yeah, well, I showed you that article.
They're
That
starting
was,
to fumble. And
the
yes,
article
that
was full of stats. I showed him an article from like a year ago that I got sent and reacted to it on stream, and it was comparing the 980 Ti to the 1080 Ti, but it might just be the worst written article I've ever seen in my entire life. Would you agree? Like,
it's among the for those trying to be professional, yes.
It is 24 gigs on the 3090. Okay, so
Which one was that? No, don't answer that. I'm trying to think in my mind. I sometimes talk to myself. I'm trying to remember which one it was.
I think AMD had one that might have been, but
For 20?
Cracking open a cold one in honor of Logan.
yeah, he's not
His
here.
favorite, Mountain Dew.
This is for you, Logan.
Now drink water, Logan.
Yeah, Logan, drink water, you sick freak.
Yeah.
So, anyways, there's a lot to look forward to. I feel like I'm excited to see what they do with the Ryzen 6000 since that's going to be implementing DDR5.
Dance Revolution.
This might be the time that when they announce it, and I plan on upgrading. At some point, maybe I just switch my 2 PC setup to a 1 PC setup because at that point, if we're hitting the point where a 2 PC setup is irrelevant for what I do.
It is. For what you're doing, yeah.
It is irrelevant, but I already have the gear, so I've been using it, right? But it's like...
It's already for you irrelevant, but...
Hey, it works well.
Well, I get it, but you don't need to.
Works well.
Oh, no,
irrelevant.
I don't need it, no. But it's complete overkill. But this might be the time where I just say screw it and I go down to 1 PC setup, and then I can use one of these as a server PC. So I can actually have a NAS server and use it for a Minecraft server, stuff like that. But that's...
In that same breath, though, you don't need that upgrade yet. You're not in a position where you actually need the upgrade.
I don't need it, but I want it.
You see, that's the issue with you, Jordan.
That is the
it's because
issue.
of people like you
Therein.
that we're getting the 3090 Ti.
No, because I'm informed enough to not get a 3090.
No, but it's not because people like you who just want that next thing
want
that's
it
coming
because
out.
the next one.
It's not because they need it. It's because they
next
want
biggest
it.
I want the
thing.
4080.
You're not wrong. It's also something
That's
that
what I would rather
but-
have. I would rather have a
but-
4080 than a 3090 Ti. Even a 4070, I'd be fine with that. Which
Well,
I'm
first
hoping.
I want to see what actual boons there are to the 40 series. I want to see the actual, like,
You are
stats
correct,
for them.
Terraria.
Yeah,
That hasn't stopped him from buying things in the past, though.
I'm a
This
poor
is
boy.
true.
I understand. I'm a
It
poor
is
boy.
true.
Hey, you could get one if you sell a couple guns.
Or, you know, if you maybe, like, sold some of your other components, you might be able to upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, I could sell that entire second PC if I upgraded to that, but that's beside the point. Then Samsung, speaking of CES stuff, they announced a monitor, which
Yeah, you were mentioning that earlier. I hadn't actually seen much
I
of
am
that yet.
incredibly excited for this. I'm gonna go to my Twitter because I retweeted something about it, talking about this monitor. I'm like, I desperately want this. It was so cool, and I've never seen. So it's the Samsung Odyssey Neo G8. It is the world's first 4K 240 hertz display. It's a 32-inch monitor with a 1000 R curve, quantum mini LED backlighting, HDR 2000, and dual HDMI 2.1 ports.
And how many body parts are we going to have to sell to afford that?
I don't know. If I had to guess, it would be about $2,000 for that monitor.
So a kidney.
Yeah, like if I had to guess, it's gonna be about $2,000. That's my prediction. $2,000. It's gonna be $1999.99.
Is that worth it?
No,
Exactly.
no. See, here's the thing though, too. What components do we have that would be able to push anything at 4K 240? Even the 3090 Ti, if that's gonna be a thing, would not have the power behind it to push that hard or to push that monitor. They struggle to hit 4K 100 or 120 even. 240? No freaking way.
Oh, I agree.
Now this is a huge difference. Like my 2070, when I go to play games on this TV, which is a 4K TV, I struggle to hit 60. You know, depending on the games. So I mean, I can't even begin to imagine, 4 times that amount on a monitor. That's insane. There's no card that could push that. Now, that being said, I want it. I really do. Will I get it? Not for years, but I want it. That's one of those things. So, I mean, that's something I'm excited to see.
It's nice, but I'm actually more excited about the technology I saw actually on a YouTube video for Linus, where they actually had switching between, 4K at 120 hertz down to 1080p at 240 hertz.
Oh, is this
Did
the
you see
video
that?
that he put where it's like, I inspired this product?
Yeah.
Okay, so I haven't actually seen that yet.
That's actually something that's actually more interesting to me because that's more practical for the common user to be able to switch between something for work and then something that's going to be more usable for like gaming or something like that.
See, I've hit the point now where unless it is a small screen like my laptop, I can't go back to gaming at 1080p.
You see, you think you can't.
I don't know. I've been using 1440 and 4K for so long that my laptop is 1080p, but it's a 15-inch screen. So at that point, it doesn't matter. The pixel density is already pretty dang good. But there's also a 3060 in there, which is able to drive it pretty well. But the fact that I even looking at those monitors over there, the other two are both 1080p. When I'm doing stuff on OBS, trying to like fine tune things, and I'm looking at those monitors, I'm like, I hate this. I want to use my main one. I can tell the difference sitting there, and it's brutal.
It's not that big of a deal.
It's really not that big of a deal.
I think
It's
it
not.
is. I think it is.
If you play games for that, you are in the wrong.
I'm a snob.
Yeah, you're in the wrong.
So, more Intel or more, more stuff. Intel just had out their new CPU, so that's not going to be a thing. They just put out. Is it the 12 series?
Yeah, the 12th gen.
The 12th gen. They just put out the 12th gen, so that won't be there. But AMD apparently has new GPUs and CPUs that they're going to talk about. Samsung's going to have that monitor. NVIDIA is going to be maybe announcing the 3090, but I'd rather see them announce the 4000 series instead of the 30.
Although we'll be lucky to get
My
an
thoughts
announcement for
exactly,
40s.
Terraria.
We would be lucky, but I don't know. What do you think about it? I feel like I've been talking a lot.
See, I have things that I'd like, but at the same time, I'm just so like fed up with how the market is as a whole right now that I'm just like, See, a lot of things that they announce are nice in concept and in theory, but a lot of it's never going to actually trickle down to us just due to the shortages that we've got and how
Yeah.
hard it's going to be to acquire any of this. So I've been somewhat disillusioned about it these past few weeks. You know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
few months, I should say.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say I'm not excited about what they're actually stating in there, but you know, I'm interested to see what updates they do make and like
For shame.
how they actually do prepare us for that next generation when they're actually able to, produce it. Like I said, I'd rather see them coming out with like, hey, this is how I'm actually going to do it.
Yeah.
This is how I'm going to get it
Dude,
into your hands.
if they laid out a timeline of, hey, we're starting to ramp up production here. We're expecting to triple what we make here, which means that we're going to be able to get you more here.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be awesome. But that doesn't prevent the scalpers from doing the same thing they're doing now.
No, it doesn't. Really, we need to find some way to punish the scalpers.
But free market at the same time.
No, I get it. That really falls down to those of us at the ground level not buying from scalpers.
Oh, I see. That would be amazing, but people are stupid. I know, like in the UK, they actually made scalping illegal, but at the same time, that messes with the free market, and I don't agree with that. I
literally can't.
I am in the sense of like, let's get the least amount of government control as possible. I think too much overreach on anything is a bad thing. And so even this, the fact that scalping is awful, I hate it. It's one of the worst things around. But I'm not going to be like, you know what? We should fine them or send them to jail for what they're doing.
No. That's
Which
part
is
of
what
the free
they're-
market.
I mean, I'd be okay with that.
I wouldn't be upset about it, but at the same time, we should be
It's-
protecting freedom.
Yeah, which is why I'm saying, like, as much as I hate it, I don't agree with what they're doing in the UK. Like, there's not really a solution that is good. John needs photos of all of our faces as soon as possible. If you have any questions, text me. Why do you need photos of
I
our
have
faces?
many questions.
I have
That's-
a lot of questions for this. Because I do
That's-
not like photos of me, so it's going to be hard put. Sorry, John.
Just take screenshots from this video.
That'll look terrible.
It still look better than a standard picture taken of me.
Twitch compressed 1080p. 10 out of 10. I think it's only 6,000 kilobits a second as well, so it's not like it's super high, But yeah, I feel like we can't punish them that way. So we need to figure out, if they were to lay out a thing, be like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And we're going to put up like physical stores where you can only buy 2 at a time, like 2 in a week or a month or whatever. Then fine, that might help too, because people aren't going to buy, tens of.
If you wanted
But
to stop,
you
you
have
would
to-
have to eliminate online buying.
Yeah, which that won't
The
happen.
real
either.
issue you're going to have with that, though, is what about if you're somebody who's starting up a small business and you need 10 or 15 of those?
Well, then you could go as like a business account or something, but then the
Yeah,
scalpers
you
would
just
just
have
do
to
the
get
same
the
thing.
okay
right?
as a small business or something.
Yeah. You'd have to like prove a business license, because scalpers don't have business licenses, but at the same time, there's nothing from stopping businesses from scalping, which is what MSI actually got in trouble for. Do you remember that?
Yeah, actually, I do.
When MSI was selling their own graphics cards on Amazon as a secondary store for double the MSRP or triple the MSRP in some cases. So
There would have to be
they were doing it
small
under.
print within the business license that says you can't do this thing.
Yeah, there was
Which I think there
a.
is anyway, but
I forget what they had their secondary company named as. Terraria can look it up if he really wants, but it was something. Because MSI is MicroStar International, and this was something Star related, but it was like a smaller, a smaller, what's the word? MSI was their parent company, I guess. It was a smaller company branched off of MSI.
company.
Yeah. And so they were like selling these GPUs at double or triple. So even then, you can't stop them from scalping, which is ridiculous. But going back to the CES stuff, I guess I want the Ryzen 6000.
I would like to see that as well.
I want to see more about DDR5. Which also, did you see what Asus made
Which,
with their DDR4 to DDR5 adapter?
yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I'm not sure about that one. I look at that with a very, very strong side glare.
Yeah, because it's, for those of you guys that don't know, it's basically you take a stick of DDR4 RAM, you put it into this adapter, and then you're able to plug it into a DDR5 slot, which I don't like that. I really don't. And it was called Starlit. That was the name.
Okay. But you see, there are issues on that on so many levels. Like, Okay, for those of you who haven't built PCs before, it can actually take some force to get those in there in the first place.
Yes.
Imagine putting it into an adapter between there, so it's just more likely to create a slight slip up. You could break the entire thing.
Yeah.
Trust me.
It means you got to buy a new one. It works for them.
No,
That's
right?
true. You gotta buy more.
That's straight up Apple.
That is
business
actually
That actually is.
That is exactly what Apple does.
Straight
'Cause
up
what was Apple doing? $1,000 for the monitor stand? Wasn't it $1,000?
$999.
Yeah, for a monitor stand. Like what?
A
I have-
magnetic monitor stand.
I have 3 monitor stands in this closet from those 3 monitors right there that I never plan on using ever again. There's no point. They're mounted. I don't want the stands. There's 3 of them sitting there. I could sell them. I should sell them for $1,000 a piece. Be like, here you go. I'm gonna pull an Apple.
Yeah, but yours doesn't have that nice, really cool Apple logo on
I will
there.
put an Apple logo on. I will spray paint it silver with a really nice silver spray paint, and I will put a little Apple sticker on there, and I will sell them for $900 a piece. Be like, hey, look, you're getting a 10% discount.
That's called false advertising and illegal.
That is highly illegal.
I'll do that, and then I can afford the 3090 Ti.
Because that's needed. We discussed this, didn't we?
Yeah, you don't need it.
Duh. Well, no one says I need it, but it's
No.
But
You
it's
have
something you would
0.
buy
No, I
regardless
actually don't-
because
I don't
you
even
have
want-
issues.
What I'm doing is I'm reinforcing it on you that you don't need it.
I don't even want the 3090 Ti. I made that very clear. I want the 4080 instead.
You still don't even need those, really.
Okay, you're right. I don't, but if I'm going to drive that Samsung monitor, then I do. Haha.
But you
Yeah, but
see,
you're not
you're
gonna
not
get
getting
that,
that
and
for
you don't
years.
need
You
that.
said
I know
that.
I'm not. I know.
That means you don't even need a 40 series for a few years.
I know, Weston, but just
Just
let me...
no. I'm gonna keep driving
Let
it into
me
you
have
so you
my
don't waste.
hopes.
No. Bad.
No.
Let me have
Shut
my
up, Jordan. No.
hopes and dreams.
No.
Those aren't hopes and dreams.
Let
Those
me
are just desires.
Let
Those
me
are
get my-
pitfalls that
my
you just
streamer
fall in
millions.
and die.
let me get my streamer millions so I can buy what I want.
That's called bad stewardship.
It really is.
Yes, exactly. Listen to Terraria.
Yeah, he says it really well here.
Bad Jordan. Okay, you know what? We'll move on then from this topic because
But no, there's lots.
Thank you,
Kind
sir.
of get back on that. There's
Appreciate
a lot
that,
of stuff
Ace.
I'm actually excited for. It's just I'm somewhat disillusioned right now and a little bit bitter, if that makes sense.
yeah. No,
I'm just bitter right now, and that's the only issue that's running into with me.
because of the market, it does make sense to be a little bit bitter because of it. I mean, it sucks. The whole market's terrible, so I get it. But
But no, there's a lot of stuff I am excited for, like improved DDR5 that's maybe hopefully affordable.
good luck.
I know, right?
Actually, so I just saw kits of DDR4 on Amazon, 16 gig kits. It was 2 8 GB sticks at 3200 cast latency 16 by Crucial. $50 for 16 gigs. It was on a deal of the day. And I was tempted to pick some up, but I was like, I don't need it.
So what was the speed on those?
3200
That's not bad.
cast latency 16
That is not bad.
for $50. It was 2 8 gig sticks. I was like, if you need to get 32 gigs of RAM, you can get it for $100.
And that is not a bad.
That's incredible.
That's kind of a steal right now.
Because do you remember a couple years ago, like when I built my computer, I know it was bad. It was for 32 gigs, like 240 or $250 for 32 gigs of that same exact speed and timing. Now it's 100. Like that's over half price gone. Like that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's less than half, I guess, technically. But
So, yeah, I agree. So
that was a good deal.
So yeah, DDR5 being more affordable. I would like to see what they have for the 6000 series. I'd also like to see the next gen of the. I don't know. I'm looking a lot forward to the AMD presentation.
I am too. The problem is that's going to be at, I think they said it was what, 7 a.m. Pacific time, so it'd be 9 a.m. for us tomorrow or on the 5th.
I'll be working anyway. I get paid to do this stuff now.
Okay. Well, I'm going to watch a
So-
recap after I wake up.
It's okay. That's part of my job is keeping
I
up on
won't.
the industry.
I know you won't.
So
I will
that's
skip.
fine. You see, I'll be there anyway.
So you get paid to keep up on it. I just do it because it's fun. I enjoy it.
I enjoy that aspect
Yeah.
of it. So
But do you think they're going to move on to because they're on 7 nanometer for right now for Ryzen. Do you think they're going to move on to 5? Are they going to shrink that even more?
they're going to try, but they're going to hold off for a while. They're going to wait for everybody to actually catch up and become a real threat.
And then they're going to throw it out?
Yeah.
They
They have no reason.
have
to
no
bring it out for
reason,
a
but I
while.
want them to so bad.
but there's no reason, and that
Because
means
you know
there's
they
no
have
money.
it. Because you know they have it.
Mm-hmm.
It's ready to go.
Or at least close to.
Like, I want them to be like, yes, it's going to be on the 5 nanometer or 4 nanometer, whatever they're going down to next.
But it won't, because there's no harsh competition at that level.
I mean, you're right, but I still want them to.
Oh, you can want all you want, but there's no money in it for them. They're not going to do it.
You're absolutely right on that. But yeah, we should probably get moving on.
Okay, yeah.
It is about that time, and Dan looks awful bored over there. So,
No, fine.
should we move on to who wants to go?
Don't matter.
Dan,
Okay.
go.
Okay.
I don't know. I just
All right. Video game villains. That's my topic. Just
best
what
ones, the
what
worst
makes a good villain, and why, and then I guess your favorites, your tops. But because it seems like every time, not even just video games, but like movies and series or whatever, when a villain shows up, it just gets knocked all the time because it's always the same thing, which you can't get away from. Good versus evil. That's always what it's going to be. You can't get away from it. So, I don't know. A lot of people are like, well, the villain has to be relatable, or you have to see some piece of worth in that villain where you understand them, why they're doing this stuff. And I don't think that is the case.
I don't agree with that either. What my all-time favorite villain? Well, there's a couple of them that I absolutely adore. Right?
Might be one of mine.
Darth Vader is one.
Okay.
I love Darth Vader.
Sure.
There's not really anything too relatable with Darth Vader, but the Joker from The Dark Knight, he is incredible. And then we're not going to get into spoilers, obviously, but the Green Goblin from this new Spider-Man movie,
Sure.
I love just the pure chaos, and
That's who he is.
I know,
Yep.
and that's what I'm saying. Like it's not relatable. Like there's nothing relatable to that. Like he's pure evil. That makes a great villain. I love that.
Yeah, he's fantastic. But like, what makes a good villain to you guys? I guess I don't know.
Well, that comment just made me laugh. As a barber, I love this show, as it is the perfect evolution of beards.
I think we've heard that before.
I love that
be honest.
comment. Okay, anyways.
Yeah, but
So,
like, I don't know. I want something unique when I see a villain,
Yeah.
that
which
was actually
is it's tough to do now, but that doesn't mean like relatable.
No,
to
yeah,
me,
you're
like-
right.
One of my favorite video game villains of all time, I think it might be up there with number one or tied for number one, is Handsome Jack from Borderlands.
Oh, he's great, yeah.
Like, incredible. It gave you something special because he was so freaking hilarious.
Yeah, he was
Like,
easily one of the funniest
He was
villains that we-
demented and stuff, but
Yeah.
he fit perfectly into that universe as, having that comedic, role as well. That you kind of liked him. He made you like him.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from, trying to kill you the whole time. But it was fun.
No, you're absolutely right.
Like, and then it, along with that, it added to the story as well. He had a cool story. It was part of the plot.
Yep.
And, you had your work your way up to actually, facing him and get in there and stuff like normal. But, like, he had that uniqueness that made him something cool,
Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't see that a lot. Like, they tried to replicate that in the next game in Borderlands 3, and it was the same thing.
We
just
still need to
worse.
play that.
We do.
Yeah, I want.
I'm waiting, man.
I never know when you work.
I work every day.
See, that's a problem.
And I get off at like 3.
Oh, that's about the time I wake up. So
And there you go.
we're good.
But, yeah, so that's cool. A uniqueness of some sort is needed for a villain,
Yeah, for sure.
Besides, like, cool aesthetic and all that kind of stuff, which is awesome. Level of difficulty is something people look for as well.
Yep.
That's not necessarily an everybody thing, but some people like it really hard. Some people don't, but sometimes a mysterious note or something you can't understand. Instead of like on the opposite side of being relatable, something you just don't understand.
Yeah.
Like Pyramid Head. I love Pyramid Head. It's Silent Hill, that series.
Oh,
It's fantastic.
I was like,
He's
who the
just
heck is
so,
Pyramid Head?
This crazy monstrosity that's freaking scary. Like, if you look into the lore and stuff, you can understand what he represents and everything, and it changes. But, like, that's a really cool villain that doesn't immediately you know what it is, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah.
thing. So just your thoughts on your favorites and why you think they're good.
I really and
Yeah,
of
we'll
course
get to that. Ace.
you're going to laugh because you're gonna say, of course it is.
Of course it is.
Alduin. I thought that was that was cool.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
The dragon coming back, you know, trying to take over the world with drag. Like, I love that storyline. I know a lot of people hate on the Skyrim story.
Sure.
I think the concept of it with him being the villain is super, super cool. Like, the fact that you have to go find his wall that, like, just grabs how the ancient Nords actually was able to defeat him and all that stuff, and just the lore behind it and all this depth that they put into the backstory of that villain, I think is super cool.
It's very Elder Scrolls lore.
It is, and that's what I like though too.
I can appreciate the you are a normal human, so to speak, giving this, you know, power of the dragons versus a dragon. So it's kind of that duality where you're given a little bit to be able to fight this thing, but you're not toe to toe, you know?
Yeah.
So I like that a bit, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool villain to have. So that's one that I really enjoy. Another one that I'm like, they brought up Far Cry.
Voss Montenegro.
I'm trying to think because 6 is the newest one, right?
6 is the newest one. Yes.
Okay, so I have played 4 and 5.
You didn't play 3?
I
It's the best
wasn't
one,
into
man.
the series yet at that point. I didn't get into the series.
It's
until
called
4.
going back and playing.
I know. I
Honestly, skip
don't
all
have
of them, play 3.
I've
Yeah.
played 4 and 5. I haven't played 6 or any other ones for that matter. But
What a performance.
that's pretty
for
good.
That character is fantastic. He's up there, yeah. He's a human, obviously. It's just a human. So that there's challenges there for me right then, because just human versus human is sometimes boring. A lot of times boring for me.
yeah,
But he was so unpredictable, and he was a psychopath. You didn't know what he was going to do, yet he was intelligent and was always, you know, one step ahead of you.
yeah.
And the voice acting performance was just fantastic. Really worth playing, so I'd definitely recommend going playing that one. So
See, because I think Far Cry. I was gonna say Far Cry 5. That's the one in Montana.
it's the cult leader.
Yeah, with the cult leader, that performance was incredible. Like
It was an interesting one, yeah.
it was really, you know, kind of intriguing, I guess, because I mean, it was something that you don't really see in a video game, I guess, where they take over almost an entire, was it a county, I guess, with this religious cult, and you have to go in and try to, like, infiltrate or destroy it. Like, I thought that was really kind of a cool concept. It was fun. It was definitely one of those things that, you know, as you play through that game, because you have to, like, fight his children, his children are involved in this, and, like, so it's him and his family is what it is, but it's one of those things where
They made it interesting,
have a lot of fun.
besides like the religious dogma type stuff, but they made it interesting with the drugs.
yeah,
So it was very
with the plants.
otherworldly.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on. You're like high this whole time. They drug you. It's
Yeah.
crazy. So
Which is how they're
that's
able
what
to
made
take
it
over.
interesting.
Yeah, which is how they were able to take over, like, with this religious stuff. So it was the mix of the religion with the drugs is what they were using to, like, control these people, which I thought was incredibly cool. I mean, it's a concept you don't see much in video games, at least. Like, maybe in TV and movies you'll see it every once in a while, but in video games you really don't see it all that often. That was kind of cool.
Any other villains you think, Weston?
Well, I was just going to start off by saying I agree. Uniquity is one of the most important things for a villain. They have to stand out. They have to be different.
So many
from
don't.
others. And so many of them are just cardboard cutouts, and that's what gets it for me. You know. I also, one of the things that gets me for villains, that actually gets me to like them, is when they're interwoven into the story before you ever actually meet them or realize they may actually
Right.
be the villain.
They have to add something to the game, like to the story, the plot, and everything.
They have to fit
be
that world.
established to a certain point where it means something to know who these people are.
I'm trying to think of what game did that really well. I know there's one that
I
for whatever reason, I can't think of the name, where the villain is your friend, like the entire movie or the entire game, and then it just, like, it flips, like he betrays you, and then he becomes the main villain, like, halfway through the game.
Yep.
It's like
They do
you're
that in
after,
games.
and it happens all the time, but I can't think of the one. There's one example I was like, oh yeah, they did that super well, but in my mind, for whatever stupid reason, I can't think of it. At like 3 a.m., it'll just come to me. I'll be like,
Sure.
oh yeah, that was it. But I don't know. That was one of those things where I was like, that's always fun too.
Or one of the villains that I still think on and still love to this day is actually Kafka from Final Fantasy VI.
He's real good.
The way that they introduce him, he starts as like a nobody in it, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's there, you know, he's not the greatest, but
Sure.
then you reach a point where he gets that power. I don't want to do any spoilers for anybody who's planning to play it, but
It's been a long time since that game came out, so
I
you
mean,
can
it's
say
kinda
what you
hard,
want, I
but-
guess. But true enough.
really, really well built. If you stop and just look at his story and how he plays throughout, so that was one of them.
To a similar degree, I like Sephiroth.
Sephiroth is
Like
pretty
he's
good.
up. He doesn't have that same feeling, but like he's got that mysterious, that unsurmountable like peak that you have to attain from the get-go, and you're so far behind him, or beneath him, I should say. I don't know. I get that feeling when I think of Sephiroth. Like he wasn't the most revolutionary character by any means. He's really cool, don't get me wrong, and he's just freaking awesome sword. But he was one of the first like big, like this guy is the end game kind of thing that
Yeah.
hadn't been a really big thing up until that point, you know. But go on, Weston.
I like what Ace put in chat here. He goes, "A good villain were the Fireflies in The Last of Us," which is one of those things where instead of being a one villain, a group of people is kind of a cool thing as well.
And we'll get to that in a bit too.
Okay, you already have that lined up.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So I don't know. There are actually a bunch of really good ones. Like, and then it's also like part of it's also just in the general game itself.
Sure.
Sometimes
yes.
if the game itself is really good, the last villain, even if they're mediocre, can be really good.
Right.
At the same time, a really bad final boss ruins a game.
Right.
I'll give you an example. Fable 2. That last boss, like if you don't act quickly enough, you're not even the one who kills it. And all it takes is one hit and it's dead.
See, I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember Fable 2. I know I played it. I played Fable 1 and 2, or was it?
It became very forgettable because
Or was it 2 and 3?
You work your way through this entire thing. They build a spire that's supposed to grant so much power, and then you go and fight this last boss. It's a man. You hit him once, he's dead. It's over. There's no real fight to it. And that in the aftermath of Fable: The Lost Chapters, which you fight a freaking dragon, you know.
Yeah.
The Jack of Blades was actually a really good villain as well.
I do remember that.
But Fable 2 fell very short because of that
Sure.
final boss, you know? The gameplay itself was acceptable. Like, I could work with it. Very exploitable, but that final boss is what really
Are you
ruined
talking
that one.
exploitable with the shops that you could own and stuff? Yeah, I remember doing that.
And then, like, turning off your game,
Yep.
setting your system clock to the far future,
Yep.
going back in,
And then you're
going
a
back,
billionaire.
repeating it over a couple times.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a good
So-
time.
Yeah, well, time. I see what you did there. But no.
Unintentional.
You could also trade with people. Some random person dropped in my game and gave me like $1 billion gold one time. I was
There
like,
you go.
okay.
But, I mean, then again, at the same time, like, Fable is actually an incredible example of how everything needs to be in balance. Because the first one is beloved for the reason it was a good game, great final boss. Second one, good game, horrible final boss. Nobody liked it. Third one, horrible game, decent final boss. Nobody liked it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have to have it all in balance. So even
But
if you
yet,
have
at the same time, it's one of the most beloved franchise in the last 20 years. So you say
That's
no one.
pushing it a bit.
that is actually pushing it quite a bit.
Well, you say no one liked it.
it's
But
a-
yeah, it has
I
a
would-
cult following.
It's a
for
cult
sure.
classic for
It is
sure.
that.
Yeah.
Like, I'll admit, I still love Fable, but I don't like 2 and I hate 3. So, but I love the first one. It's still one of the games, if I just want to forget what's going on and just chill for a while, it's a game where you can feel very overpowered and just hack and slash your way through it. No
I feel like
problem.
that's a perfect game for the last 2 years, if that's the case.
But no.
If I want to forget what's going on, let's just forget
Rip
2020.
Lionhead.
So
But yeah.
That's kind of my general, most generic thoughts on
Yeah.
Final Boss. I could get far more in
Sure.
depth, but I know that you had something else you wanted to mention. which I heard from
Yeah.
before.
Well, it was mentioned just like a group as a whole, and they mentioned what the Fireflies, right? not a good opinion that people don't like. I don't like The Last of Us that much as everyone else does.
I
think it
adore
was-
the first one, but I know what the second one is, and I refuse to play it.
I'm not even talking about I respect what The Last of Us did a lot. I understand it. I just thought it was too boring for me. The Fireflies
Gameplay wise
cool.
or story wise? Because I think story wise is
gameplay for sure.
I think story is probably one of the best stories.
It was too mundane for me. I just want to throw out that's just personal preference. Just the Fireflies are cool. I understand it. You understood their methodology, what they were trying to do, and why.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it was just people in a post-apocalyptic world who just fought you for a pretty easy reason. It wasn't huge for me.
Yeah. There's a group of villains, the Tunnel Snakes from Fallout 3.
Interesting.
Trying
I
to
don't know
remember.
why that just popped in my head.
That one's not really popping back into my brain very well. I played Fable 3, but
No, Fallout 3.
or Fallout 3. That's what I meant.
It's
Sorry.
the gang of like teenagers in the vault at the beginning that you have to.
Oh, those.
Yeah.
They're so forgettable.
They are. That's why they just. For whatever reason, it popped in my head. Like I had to say the Tunnel Snakes. I don't know why.
This is kind of an interesting one. It's you can call it a group, but it's not really. It's just a collective organism. But the Flood from Halo,
Oh yeah, that's cool.
it's I don't know, one mind, many parts kind of thing. It's scary. That parasitic life form that will engulf and take over everything and kill you. It had a little bit of a horror element that was in a shooter, which was kind of you haven't seen that at that point,
Which is, I think, why it helped. That
Right.
game was so popular.
It was so good. The story
that
fantastic.
definitely
but,
helped.
just that unrelenting coming after you type thing, taking you out, taking other enemies out. It was awesome. So I appreciate that. That would be my number one group, I guess. It's not, if you want to call it a group. It's not really a group.
I call it a hive mind.
Right,
more than
yeah.
anything.
A grave mind,
Well,
if you say. But
you're
I don't
not
know.
wrong.
Groups are interesting. They can be really good. It can also take away from things because it's too spread out. It's not really. Sometimes it's like the leader is has the thought process behind why they're doing things, and the others are just there. I don't know. To each their own. Like I said, there's just a uniqueness to good villains, and it's to each their own, I guess.
Yeah, because what you were saying earlier, and I know we kind of touched on this already, when you said a lot of people think that a good villain needs to be relatable.
Yeah.
I disagree with that. I think the more unrelatable they are, just the more chaotic and just pure evil they are. I honestly think that Thanos is not anywhere near as good as the Green Goblin, villain-wise. I would rather have that. People are I understand why Thanos did what he did, and that's kind of that's the relatable aspect. Is he?
There's a method to his madness.
See,
There's a method to Green Goblin's madness as well, if you think about it.
but it's a lot more chaotic,
Sure, or
Which
it's just
I
more
like.
brutal.
which I like.
It's chaotic in a sense because it's chaotic to. It seems chaotic to what we would normally think is someone doing something for some reason.
Yeah,
But his reason was perfectly understandable. He wanted to break Spider-Man. He wanted him to become himself.
Evil. Yeah. Which I mean, but that's not really as relatable.
Sure.
If we're going relatability, I don't think. You know what I want to do today?
No one has a
I wanna
has a
break
rival
somebody.
that we want to crush their soul. Obviously not, but
I feel sometimes Weston feels that way about me.
Only most days.
yeah. But I don't know. I think people are just looking for something new,
Yeah,
and they don't understand what
I'm trying to think
new
of,
thing they should be looking for.
Yeah,
I
I'm trying to
think
think of what games are coming out that they've announced. Where I'm excited about this story because of the villain.
because of the villain.
And
I'm not sure.
And I can't think of any right now. One I'm really looking forward to hearing more about, though, I'm sure we're going to hear it at E3, is going to be Starfield. Because I think having something like that in space could be really, really cool in regards to, hey, this person. I don't know if it's going to be one person that tries to take over the universe, if it's one person that tries to take over just a specific galaxy, if it's one person that tries to take over just a couple planets. We don't know. But I'm incredibly excited to see what they do with that.
It'll be a group.
You think it's gonna be a group that tries to take over
A
something?
group or a company or
An
something.
organization of some
Yeah.
sort.
It'll
I don't
be,
know, it's-
it'll be Facebook with the metaverse.
Another group that's actually really cool, I guess, that we forgot about is Cerberus from Mass Effect series.
Mm.
Like, that was a really cool utilization of a group. But, I don't know. I guess we kind of explained a little bit. I just want to hear some of your favorite villains, I guess, before we move on. I have a few that
Yeah.
are pretty worth mentioning, I guess.
I mean,
but,
I listed off mine
yeah.
already. Where
Andrew Ryan from Bioshock.
Mm.
that's
That
what,
was an awesome one where you don't see the guy. You see the guy maybe just a couple times, and then you immediately like kill him in the end, and it's nothing. Like it's a scripted scene where you have to kill him. That's it. But you feel him throughout the series through his voice and on the radio and stuff, and through his like philosophy and why he created this whole environment. It's like really really cool.
I have Bioshock, but I haven't played it yet.
Dude, what are you doing, man?
There's a lot of games that
That's
I
up there
said
in
that
my-
about. Yeah,
Top 10 games ever.
I think it's is it 1, 2, and Infinite? Are those the?
Yeah, and 4 is in the works.
Okay, so I do have 1, 2, and Infinite on the PS4.
Yeah, play them, dude. But that one's really cool.
And yes, Terraria it is. To answer your question.
Is it on the new engine?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, it wasn't going to be, and I thought it was so stupid.
It's the Creative Engine 2.
Is that the creation engine's garbage?
Yeah, it's the creation. I don't know like what the difference is between the first one and the second one, but I know it's a Creation Engine 2.
All right, we'll see.
So
but,
that should be good.
There's someone else. Just one more villain, I guess. Gaunter O'Dim from The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt DLC Hearts of Stone. I love that villain. He's this. I don't want to.
Yeah, I've played that.
Yeah, right.
I know
you
how
should.
good he is.
So good. But he's this all-powerful devil, evil incarnate entity that it's just really funny because when you start the game before DLC came out, he's like the first person you meet in a tavern, and he explains where you're supposed to go, and I think you can play Gwent with him or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you come back after the whole game is done, you learn that he's like this crazy dude, the Man of Glass, and
Oh, really?
he like ensnares you in this contract. He's like a demonic contract dude. It's fantastic. I love that. It's so cool. But the ending scene where he's just clapping and he's walking sideways out of the sky. So cool. All right. I'm done.
No, you just got me thinking about the Witcher series, and I was like,
So good.
you know, the first one actually ends with a group enemy for the most part.
You still need to get me the mods for the first two that you say make it.
you
Really
should,
good to
dude.
play.
So good.
So I want to play it, but I'm waiting till I can actually use like a control. I don't like mouse and keyboard for games like that.
I hate mouse.
I actually
I-
don't like mouse and keyboard either.
I love mouse and keyboard for games like Sea of Thieves and like other first person, games like that. I love it. But otherwise I hate it for games like The Witcher. I hate it for a lot of third person games. I
Just
don't
get a controller. Plug it in, man.
Well, it doesn't work with controller for The Witcher 1 and 2, which is part of the mods that he has will
suppose.
give it controller support.
I mean, with Steam, you can do a little if you get it through them,
But it's not
It's not
good,
as well integrated.
which is why I want you to get those for me.
I just need to package them and just send them to you.
Yeah, just put
Show you
them in
what it boils
Dropbox
down
or
to.
something.
But
Not really a villain, but one of my favorite characters of all time, Sheila Gorath from the Shivering Isles expansion and Oblivion.
I mean, he was kind of both villain and
Well,
villain.
he's not really like a full villain, but he's a Daedric prince of madness. It's like, but his voice acting is so good. Like that's one of the best performances I think for a video game character, just voice acting wise. I love it.
That's pretty funny.
And one line that I will never forget from him in that is when he's like, and if you mess up, I'll rip out your intestines and I'll jump rope with them. Like just the stuff that he says was just so out of the blue, and I loved it. Because like I said, with like similar to the Green Goblin, just chaos. Or in this case, more
Well, it has an
madness.
appeal, just with the Joker.
Mhm.
Yeah, which is what I like. Obviously, I mean I
Sure.
listed him off too. So
Yeah.
that's definitely another one. But
Arkham series Joker.
that was going to be one of mine.
So good.
is that the one that was voiced by Mark Hamill, or is that just the
That's
cartoon?
Mark Hamill.
Okay, it is in the
I'm pretty sure it's
the Arkham series
It's
as
Mark
well.
Hamill.
Because I know he did it in the cartoon, but I wasn't sure if he did it in the
I
video
think it's
game as
Mark
well.
Hamill, and I'm pretty sure it's Kevin Conroy, right, for Batman.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the same animated series got Arkham the voices.
Yeah,
Very
he's
cool.
one
I
of my favorites.
I didn't
I
realize
love
that.
him so well in that.
Yep.
So any other ones that you guys want to bring up then?
No,
Because we still got 2 topics left, and it's almost been an hour. So
we're good.
No, I think that's good enough. I think
Okay.
for
Sure.
mine, like, we could go on.
Good doesn't mean
I-
iconic. Just leaving that out there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to shut you guys off
No,
if you're not
good.
done, but we gotta just time wise, we
I'm
got
fine.
stuff to do. So
Let's move it on.
Mm-hmm.
so Weston,
All right, so mine is actually somewhat of a continuation from one of the first ones I did. I figured start the new year with something that kind of started my time here with.
okay, and also he says I figured I'll start the new year with it. He came up with this like 10 minutes
yeah.
before.
It's really true. So
Sorry to
That's-
put you on blast like that.
no, it's true, but that's part of why I settled on it.
Okay.
So in the early days, I discussed what should or should not go into a video game remaster. Today, let's discuss what should or should not go into a video game remake. Because they're very different beasts in and of themselves.
Yeah.
And we discussed pretty well what we believe should be included within or altered within a remaster. What do you guys think should or should not be in a remake? What do you think should be off limits? What do you think should be fair game?
Honestly, in a remake, I think it's totally open.
Completely?
I mean, if it's going to be
yes,
a remake,
within reason.
put
It just
everything
depends
in.
on the game and what they want to do, and whether you want to keep the soul of the game intact. It's a remake, so it's really a different game. It's totally different game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of a purist, so I think you should stay as close to source material as possible.
That's exactly how I
Like-
feel as well.
Story-wise, obviously, that's probably should be the same or close to it.
Well, if you're going remake, the story has to be the same. Like, I feel like you almost have. If you're gonna remake that game, it almost has to be.
See, it has to be with the remaster, absolutely the same.
I would say
A remake?
remaster, yes.
A remake doesn't necessarily have to be the same. You can add little bits to it. I think you can flesh things out,
I was going to say,
but it needs to stay true to itself.
I would say, like, for me on that note, like with Final Fantasy VII, it's one of them that got me thinking
the big
about
one.
this. It's the big one that's come out recently. You've still got the same baseline story. They're just adding more
They
to it
fleshed it out.
as you go.
They added a little bit.
And they changed the mechanics like crazy. But
We'll talk about that in a bit. But
yeah.
you haven't played it, right, Jordan? I'm assuming
What?
Final Fantasy VII remake.
No, I've not played any Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me either.
But they added the whole the Spectre, the Death Ghost type thing. I can't remember what they're called, but which was actually kind of cool because everywhere that happened is where they changed the story a little bit. So that's a really cool way of showing the differences. And I thought that was pretty unique and added to the story still, But they also they could flesh out characters more. They could flesh out events more, and they did, and I love that. I love what they did with Aerith. I think they made her character 100 times better. Like, she's actually like usable and everything. She's actually really cool and likable, even more so.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna suck when it's gone.
Yeah. Yep.
But
That's going to hit hard.
so they did a really good job with creating, or revamping that character more. But
Wait, Ace, what did they change in that remake? They changed characters from another series in the Call of Duty Modern Warfare remake in 2019.
I didn't play the remake for that.
I
so.
played the remake and I got the Platinum Trophy, and I don't remember anything being different enough to make me think, "Oh wow, that was different than the original."
I mean,
Everything seemed alright
it
to
was
me.
a bit different. I didn't play the campaign of it, so
Well, it was only campaign
Modern Warfare.
for the remaster. For Call of Duty 4 remastered, it was only campaign.
That's a remaster. The remake, I think he's talking about the actual Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Oh, okay. Then
The
never mind.
remaster would be exactly the same because that's what it was. It was just updated graphics.
Okay, never mind then.
But I didn't actually play
I thought
Modern
he was talking
Warfare.
about that.
No,
The remake campaign-wise, I just played Warzone and multiplayer on it. So
I don't play Call of Duty, so I have no idea about either.
I feel like the whole storyline for all that stuff has gone downhill very far.
I feel like the
for
entire
a while.
Call of Duty
So
just franchise in general has gone downhill.
it has,
but that's a whole
yeah.
conversation for another day.
But I couldn't give you anything on that topic because I
Yeah.
haven't played it. But
I stick to Halo for the most part. of
Halo
those
was
two,
fantastic.
I don't know what they changed or not in that. So Ace, if they did change that, hopefully it was tasteful at least.
I don't even know what he's talking about. I guess so that I have no idea. But
it was like a reboot, a soft reboot, or a full reboot of the Modern Warfare.
A reboot.
Oh, it's a reboot.
Yes.
So that's not even. That's a different.
It wasn't a
animal
remake.
altogether.
It was just a new Modern Warfare that rebooted the series.
Okay,
pretty
so
much.
that's a
You
different.
see, that's
animal
actually
altogether.
a third path in general, in my
It's
opinion as well.
pretty much the
You
It was
see,
a remake for the essentially.
I get how some people would call it a remake, but at the same time, I actually consider remakes and reboots to be two very different
I think so as well.
baselines.
At the end of the day, they can virtually change everything though the same in those. So
But I think that the connotations behind them are
Sure.
different. So,
but
because with a reboot, I would expect them to change story elements and stuff like that very deeply and change where things might actually go.
Yeah.
Whereas with a remake, I expect to keep a lot of that actual base story consistent with changing like small
I
fluctuations.
agree 100%.
I almost think in a reboot they should stay on the same path for the story though, because it's you already have your material where you start with. They're gonna change it on a branching path a little bit. In a remake, they can honestly change everything.
So you're
Should
actually taking
they-
the opposite mindset.
I think it's the opposite.
See,
for
I
me,
feel like
but
reboot, like they're
not saying they should or they would, but they can.
See, here's what I think reboot is almost is they like if let's say with this new Marvel stuff, it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna
Gotcha.
reboot the Spider-Man series, you know. So they that's why they brought back Spider-Man. It was they rebooted the Spider-Man franchise to make it new. So it has different things altogether. It's a different story. Like they didn't be like, oh, we're gonna remake
I wouldn't
Spider-Man.
even call it a reboot. I just say that's
I-
it's a new game series.
Well, I'm saying in the the franchise mindset of it, I guess. You know, it's
Sure.
like they weren't gonna remake Spider-Man or the Amazing Spider-Man, so they rebooted Spider-Man. You know, so it's new stuff altogether. That's how I feel reboot would be with Modern Warfare. You know, in that regard, that's where you were going. I think
That's
as
kind of
well.
my
Yeah.
Sure,
understanding
yeah,
of
I
it.
understand that. I just when I thought reboot, like in the terms of Modern Warfare, I didn't think of like we're just rebooting a whole franchise. They took the same franchise with the same characters and the same story ish, and they just they changed it. They tweaked it a little bit. I think he's saying that they made it prequel story a lot.
Okay.
That's what my mind's. I understand what you're saying. Rebooting a franchise, yeah, that's changing things and making your own. You know.
So like when they rebooted Modern Warfare, like they have the same main things. Like obviously, you know, if we're gonna keep the Spider-Man comparisons, you know, you have Spider-Man, same character. Then you have Aunt May, same type of character. You know, but it's different. Like it's the same names, but it's also different. That's why it's a reboot, not a remake
Sure.
or a remaster, anything along those lines. So when he's talking like this, he can have the same characters.
Sure.
But if the storyline's totally different, the gameplay's different, and the mechanics are different, and all that stuff, that would be reboot, not remake.
That's how I understand
Sure,
it as
yeah.
well. But maybe you just had a different definition.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So
There's also soft reboot, and
Yeah,
full
there
reboot.
is. Yeah.
You're right.
And
Yeah.
that's what I was on the lines of soft reboot
Okay.
Okay, so
is what I was thinking, I suppose.
I feel like we could just go off and like discuss the
the
the definitions
and nuances
yeah.
of them.
Like you're saying franchise reboot, which I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I guess I should have said soft reboot, but
Okay.
that's what my mind was
got
because
you.
that's what I thought the Modern Warfare series would be a soft reboot, I guess.
Okay. Got you.
But
So different definitions then.
I guess.
that's-
I think that's where our confusion was, or
Yeah,
our
for sure.
disagreement was.
For
there.
sure. But anyways, moving on then to going back to the main topic, I guess.
So, yeah, personally, I agree. Story should have some alterations to it. I don't think they should ever take anything away from the story, but they should add to it
Yeah.
for a remake.
yeah.
See,
I believe it should
agree.
be expanded.
I think what they should do, like, if the general consensus when the game first came out was that this part is terrible, then change that part. You know, if you're gonna remake. So, like for instance, I know I always go back to it because it's, you know, my favorite game. It's what I know the most. It's in Skyrim when you have to kill Parthenax for the main story. I didn't want to do that. Nobody wanted to do that. Why did they make you do that? So I think then there's mods.
Isn't that one path? You don't have to.
No, because you can't actually finish the main story unless you do it. You have to in order to actually like fully complete the main story. Like you can't be part of the Blades and do anything with the Blades unless you go kill him.
Really? I don't remember having to kill.
But there's a mod called the Parthenax Dilemma that someone actually, it's not voice acted, but they give you different dialogue with the people in the Blades to be like, okay, yeah, like I see this point of view. Like, I think that's a lot better. And if they were to, obviously I don't want them to at this point, but like, let's say they did remake Skyrim entirely. If that was in there, I wouldn't have an issue with it. If they were like, yeah, you know what? We're going to add this one voice line or this one conversation. You don't have to. I think that'd be okay. Like the really small changes like that, where everyone in the community of the game was like, no, this sucks. I hate this. I don't want this. I think that's okay.
But notice how the original option is still there.
The original is still there. Yes, like the original is still there.
They just added to it for another path.
Which is why I'm saying that is okay.
Mm-hmm.
General consensus of the fan base, like if we're all like, hey, this
fine.
sucks.
It made sense to the story.
It did, but at the same time, it's
a tough decision. You don't want to do it and stuff, but
sometimes
I feel like that's okay and that's fine. You don't have to like that for it to be worthwhile part of the game,
Cause that's like my one main complaint about the main story of Skyrim. But I know I always talk about it, but that's because it's the game I've played the most. So it's the most, it's easiest for me to put into words.
No, I get you. But no, so...
Yeah, it's an optional quest. You don't have to kill Parthenax.
In order to go through the Blades stuff, though, you do.
Well, Blades isn't the main quest, though.
Well, I would still rather not have to do it.
Yeah, I remember because before I quit, I think I didn't kill him yet. In one of my playthroughs, at least, I didn't.
I can't remember. It's been a long time since my last Skyrim playthrough.
Yeah.
I always install that mod now, so
in remakes for story, when you're doing changes and stuff, I don't think you should take away anything. I think you should just add stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Like Final Fantasy, they didn't really take away anything. They just added more and more. Now,
but you guys were also talking before in a different show about how they added stuff that you hated, right?
I don't remember that.
Or what were you talking? There was something Final Fantasy related where you guys were like, in the original game it was like this, and then now
gameplay-wise,
the mechanics of the game.
It was a totally different game. It wasn't, Final Fantasy
but it was still a
7.
remake of the game, right?
Yes, but it was like a hack and slash real-time event game instead of a turn-based RPG.
JRPG, yeah.
Because if I remember right, it was on the topic of the worst video game mechanics. And you guys were talking about how you absolutely hated something from Final Fantasy that was not in the original game, but in the remake
turn-based gameplay. I don't
remember exactly what it was.
That's what it was. I didn't hate Final Fantasy VII Remake. I loved the game. It was fun. It was really cool. It's a cool addition. It was an incredibly large letdown for me.
Oh, you know what it was?
It wasn't turn-based. It wasn't the same game.
It was something about the characters not being able to learn all the skills or something.
That's a different Final Fantasy.
Okay, I'm saying 12. That's what you guys were talking about, though, or something.
That was 12.
Yep, that's
12. That's not a remake at all, then.
That was deluxe edition, almost kind of thing, like Zodiac Age. That was a remaster where they changed things,
which they should not do that much.
Okay. See, I didn't remember the exact thing. So you guys were talking about it.
Yeah, that's Final Fantasy 12, the Zodiac
12.
Age. Yep.
Figured we'd at least touch on it.
Yeah. 7, I thought that the remake did well overall, but I agree with Dan. I would have liked to have seen it as an actual turn-based.
Like that, I had the most hype, almost ever, maybe, for that game when it came out, and I loved it thoroughly. And the more I played, the more let down I was, because it just wasn't the same. Which it wasn't supposed to be the same. That's fine. I loved it for what it was, but it didn't, give me what I wanted because I wanted the old game. Yeah.
No, that makes sense for sure. Totally makes sense.
Honestly, I really hope they release a version of it where it is just turn-based, which they won't.
It wouldn't work or anything.
But
I still have to play.
What we need is just like a mod where somebody just takes the assets from the remake and just puts it into the original game.
Graphic story, cinematics, and all that stuff, and then
I feel like that'd be an interesting conversation as well. Like, what games do you want a remake of, and why do you want the remake, and what would you like to see?
I want a remake of the remake where they go back to the original mechanics.
Hey, you know what? I bet you that we could figure out a way to get Zach or Terraria or somebody or you to. You guys can work
I do
together.
not have time for this.
Well, you guys can work together to do that.
You know the effort and expertise needed for something like that?
That's what I'm saying. I do
I
not have
think-
time for this.
We do not have that.
Oh, you guys are smart. You could figure it out.
It doesn't
No.
matter how smart you are if you don't have time to do it.
Do it in the summer.
Or materials.
That's
Or money.
And by the way, you have to
Expertise.
realize
It's
Kickstarter
not there.
project.
that working during the summer doesn't always work either, because that's supposed to be my actual rest time.
Well, that's why you work on your passion projects in the summer.
Do you know how many of those I have going right now?
I don't know, Weston. I don't ever really see you outside of here in church. So those are the only 2 times I ever get to
Wait,
see you.
you come to church?
Every Thursday. I talk to you guys.
That's Lake Life. That's parachurch.
Still church.
I don't see Weston ever anyway, either, so. Weston disappears and stays to himself.
I'm convinced that Weston doesn't exist outside of this house and church. And then the one time I saw him at Walmart.
And that was just simply an Easter egg for you.
I guess.
Yeah, because Terraria has like 50,000 projects already, as he put in chat. How many do I have?
Finish one, move on.
He was talking the other night. He's like, in my live stream, he was talking. He goes, I started out with this, and then I started working on this, and then I started working on this instead because I needed. And then he's like, I'm on my 7th rabbit hole right now.
You are your
Stop.
own worst
Stop.
enemy.
Save
do it.
yourself. Just take everything after the first one, drop it for the time, finish your first one, and then
If
move
you always
on.
start something new, you'll never finish anything.
Like that kid had like 80,000 projects going on in one night, and I'm like, you are not gonna get anything done ever if you do that.
It's wasted time.
You really just need to pick your battle and fight it through to the end of the war, and then move on to the next one.
Trey's like, dang it, Jordan, it's my birthday. Don't put me on blast like this. It's not your birthday for you. You have no say.
Your past is your future, which is our present.
I'm not even going to try to understand that. So, I guess the whole
Or
remake
your
thing.
future is your past, which is our present. Because they're one and the same, because we are his future, because we keep going. We're in his past, because we're one day behind. And it's present right now for him. Does that make any sense?
It makes no sense whatsoever.
Hey, I accept it. I
that
accept it.
I feel like that just needs to. No, I don't ever want to think about that sentence again.
But no. So trying to get back toward our original
Yes.
discussion here to take Terraria off blast and all that and spare him a little bit here.
Love you, Terraria.
So yeah, I think my thought for this, you can add to the story, never take away, but add to. And if you can keep your mechanical changes tasteful and true to the original, not going to say it has to be the exact same as the original. It doesn't need to be. But it needs to somehow honor the original.
Has to keep the soul alive.
Exactly. I know of examples of it which don't, one of which being Final Fantasy VII, which is just the one we've kind of been using as our case study here.
Like, I think all in all, besides the story and stuff in the characters, it keeps the soul. It's a different game. It's not a turn-based JRPG, which is Final Fantasy, in my opinion. Or of old, I should say. And that's fine. But it doesn't hit the same as the old one, because I love
Yeah.
the old one.
Mm-hmm. Same. That's why they were doing the remake, is because so many people did love the original.
Mm-hmm.
So
Took them 20 years. 8's next, baby. That one scares me. If it
They're
ever
gonna
happens.
remake 8?
I don't know if they are.
Oh,
but
okay.
I've
thought you
heard,
were
I've
like-
heard talk, but that never means anything.
Talk can mean a lot of things. Yeah. That's either
And I would love it, but it's also, it won't be most likely a
Yeah.
turn-based game. So will it be the same? I don't know.
I don't know. I love the mechanics of 8 a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So just like how unique and creative it was, I would hate to see them mess with that.
Well, I mean, did it with 7, so.
No, I get that, but and that's why I'm saying I don't want to see them mess with it.
Yeah. We'll see if it ever happens. I don't know. That was my 2 cents.
I like it.
But yeah.
So
Is that good?
Yeah, let's go with me.
Anything,
So
anybody want to throw anything
We
else
can move
out?
on. I'm
Okay.
good.
you guys,
Just take your time.
because Logan's not here, And so
Dead.
he actually is. Yeah, he's dead. Legit. I mean, he hasn't even shown up here in
Yeah,
chat.
you didn't even
so,
show
I
up
mean,
in chat. What are you doing? You're not doing anything home. You loser.
He is sick.
Your
No,
corpse
so-
can watch.
It's true.
So you guys had an idea then of a topic that we can fill in with his spot. So I don't care what one of you wants to introduce it, but there's a topic that they came up with while I was in the bathroom, and
Hey, you were here. I told you.
Yeah.
well, you told me, but it's you guys
Most
came up with it. So I'll let you-
the things you're most looking forward to in 2022. So video games, movies, anime, hardware releases, whatever you want.
just things that are going to be coming out.
Yeah,
Okay.
just a easy blanket topic. So
Okay. I would say because I know one thing I'm looking forward to this year is traveling again and going out and doing stuff, but that's not anything that's
whatever.
coming out then. So.
Will you be able to though?
That's what I was about to ask.
Are you sure?
Oh yeah, I'll be able to. Why are you questioning this?
Well, I mean,
These are countries stupid.
it's true. I mean, the college has just initiated the vaccine mandate.
Are you serious?
So if you really think that things are getting that much better on your end, you might want to think twice.
I drive, so I mean, airplane stuff won't matter too much. I'll take road trips.
So just saying.
I've driven out to Virginia twice. I'll do it a third.
Don't put your cart before your horse, okay?
Well, I have a car, so we're set.
Kid. This kid. Anyway.
The FBI is watching you. They'll just track you down.
Oh, screw the FBI. It's okay.
Yeah, they're terrible.
They are. That whole department needs to go. Anyways,
We'll not get into this.
yeah, well,
But
that's not even.
I
a
know
topic
me and
for
Weston are pretty excited for October
Mm-hmm.
because
I watched their.
Did you finally watch
yeah,
it?
I
The
watched
trailer?
It was so sick. I loved it.
now. For
Bleach,
What
baby, 1,000-Year Blood War.
well, I had to ask the question. I knew, but because you just said, "Oh, have you seen the trailer?"
Heck
with no
yes.
context, people listening wouldn't know.
I loved it. It was great.
Okay, if they have watched any of our previous episodes whatsoever.
What if they haven't?
Well,
It's
then,
Terraria, man.
What if people on YouTube haven't watched it yet?
Well, you know what? They can go back and they can watch our library of videos.
Go watch all
You
29 episodes before this. I'm okay with it.
But yes,
It takes forever to render those.
10/22, baby. I am so ready. The trailer was fantastic. It did spoil a little bit if you have only watched the anime and not read any of the manga, which I understand, but it's still, come on.
The manga is actually really good.
Yeah. But it hit me in the feels when number 1 started playing the remix. That was so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the theme song for Ichigo, by the way. Which stopped after quite a while in the series. But animation looks phenomenal.
Like, seriously, that was a really cool animation.
Some
did
of it,
like it.
I'm pretty sure it was just for the trailer. But if, like in the beginning, those characters, if it looks like that, like, we're in for a treat.
Mhm.
And that's season what?
Season. I don't know what season it is.
It's going to
it's
be
up
episode
there.
367.
Alexa.
7.
How many seasons are there of Bleach?
Bleach,
13?
the TV show, had 9 seasons and
9.
it was published on January 5th,
10.
2002.
So this will be 10.
Yeah, and it's the longest arc by far.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been 10 years. 10 years since Bleach stopped, the anime and the manga.
Okay.
And it's now coming back. And we are very hype.
Mm-hmm. It's been too long.
It's going to be great.
I know one thing I'm looking forward to that isn't Bleach is that comes out around the same time though is Starfield. That's gonna be super fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be such a good game. I mean, they haven't released a.
You hope.
I hope. Yeah.
I'm tentative
Bethesda
about it.
has
Okay,
crapped on
I
a
am-
lot of things like recently.
You're right, but I'm incredibly excited for a couple of reasons.
What's
One,
new IP?
new IP. 2, new engine. We haven't had a game on this engine yet. And 3, Microsoft money, which is going to help with the technical production of the game itself. So maybe less glitches, possibly. Better QA.
Maybe. Which, that surprised me because originally the plan was to keep it on Creation Engine. That's what, when they
now-
announced it, that's what it was.
And now it's Creation Engine 2.
So I'm really glad that it's not. But what does that mean?
I don't know, but I'm incredibly
Have they
excited
been
to
working
find
on
out.
that engine forever now, or is this kind of a fast
I don't know, but I'm
Switch.
incredibly excited to find out.
We'll see.
I mean, here's the thing.
We'll see. They've gone downhill.
They have, but I'm hoping that the Microsoft. I mean, as much as I hate on Microsoft, the games that the companies that they own that they've put out have been really good. When you talk about like
They don't have games.
the big titles, like they have Halo, they have Forza, they have Sea of Thieves, which I really enjoy. Like there's games
They
that
have like 2 or 3
Gears of War.
exclusives. Gears hasn't been out for a little while.
Didn't one just come out like 3 or 4 years ago?
but
Gears of War 5.
it's been a little bit.
It's
Yeah,
been a while.
3 years is quite a while.
Well, I mean, it's been a while, but it's not like it's too far out of the.
But-
I mean, we're talking about
Again,
Bethesda.
I get that, but Microsoft also has a tendency to ruin things.
They do.
I mean,
That's what
Halo.
Microsoft. That's why they bought Bethesda, is because they don't have any games.
Yeah, but the ones that they do have been good. I feel like.
Been okay. They just put out Halo. That was good. Forza is Forza.
I love
It's just
Forza
a
Horizon.
freaking racing
I love
game.
it.
That's nothing special.
I love it. It's fun. It's arcadey. It's enjoyable.
It's not my style.
I mean-
For those who enjoy it, yeah, it might be great. It's just not my thing.
See, I'm usually
say
not.
that.
I don't like racing games that are simulation racing games, like the Forza. There's not even a second name. It's just Forza 5, right? Or like, and then there's Forza Horizon. There's 2 different Forza series. There's Forza and then Forza Horizon. Forza is a simulation, which I don't like, and Forza Horizon is arcadey, which I adore. Like, one is super realistic. The tire pressure actually will matter, and you
I
really
thought
have
that's
to.
what Horizon was.
No, Horizon is you can drive a Lamborghini and ramp it off of sand dunes in the desert. Like, it's just
Then why don't you just
arcadey
play
and fun.
GTA?
It's not as fun.
See, we won't get into that, but
That's an entirely different
it's
argument.
not for me. But yeah, so
Speaking-
Microsoft needed games. That's why they bought Bethesda.
Yes. Yes.
Now Bethesda has to do something with that.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
Sure. Hopefully Starfield's awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm so
Is it
excited.
my biggest
But-
thing I'm looking forward to? No.
What other games are coming out this year that you are looking forward to?
Horizon. Forbidden West.
Forbidden West?
Oh, that does come out. But is that going to be on PS4? Because I don't have a PS5 yet.
Yeah, it'll be on PS4, I'm pretty sure.
I don't have a PS5, and as much as I want one,
So,
really doubt I'll be able to
looking
get
forward
one
to
this year.
that. That's going to be awesome.
Also, theoretically, it's supposed to be released as Breath of the Wild 2.
Okay, that's going to be
By
like
the
another.
holidays.
That's going to be another 10 years, knowing Nintendo.
Supposed to come out this year.
Hey, speaking
We'll
of
see.
Nintendo, did you see what's coming out here in a few weeks
Which,
on the Nintendo 64 emulation on the Switch?
actually, I've not seen that.
Banjo-Kazooie.
I'm not surprised that they're bringing that
I am
out, but-
so excited to play Banjo-Kazooie again. I love that game.
Okay. I might be excited when they have enough stuff on there to actually warrant the higher cost expansion.
I mean, I don't mind it because.
but that's a different story.
I-
Don't We're not fighting that.
I
Point
got
right
I got
now.
the family plan, so it's myself, my sister, and Lily all on there. So I mean, there's 3 people for $70 a year, which is not bad.
But no, beyond that, I'm also looking forward to Legends Arceus coming out. I'm interested in it.
The more I see about it, the more I don't care.
I would say I'm gonna hold. I was super excited, but I'm gonna hold off on getting
I'm
it
not
now.
super excited, but other Pokemon games, I don't know. I actually get really bored with the
I'm
traditional
so
style.
bored of Pokemon. Like, I'm not like Logan. Logan still goes and shiny hunts and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I finished the game. I'm done with it. I won't play it again.
I'll be
probably.
honest. I haven't
Like-
even finished Pearl yet. I
Like-
think I beat the 8 gym, and I haven't played
Like
it
it.
since.
See, I just
was
get so bored with them. I'm
meh.
hoping that this gives us at least something different.
Yeah,
That's my one hope. It's at least decent, you know?
yeah.
I don't
That's an
know.
entirely different discussion.
I hope it's
Nintendo in
decent
general
too,
has
but
nothing that keeps my attention.
the more that I see of it, the
Besides
least
Fire
excited
Emblem.
I am.
And I do like Fire Emblem. But, I don't know. Even moving away from video games, though, isn't there a Spider-Verse movie coming out this year?
Is it? Yeah. Across the
The
Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse.
Is that this year?
I think so.
Part
I'm really, really hyped for that because I love the first one. I know it hits everything for me, design-wise and Marvel-wise and Spider-Man.
See, and
and
that-
everything. It's just
The animation style has kept me from watching it.
you gotta watch it, man.
The frame rate, I tried.
No,
it's
it's
not the frame-
artistic in how they approach
It's
it.
not the frame rate. The frame rate is fine. They just
It's
made it
choppy.
look. It's not choppy. they make it look a certain
It's
way.
intentional.
It's not choppy at all.
As far as the
It's
aesthetic.
incredibly smooth. They just make it look a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
See, I tried. I didn't like it the one time I tried because I couldn't get over how choppy it looked.
If that's what you're worried about, you just like with your video games, frame rates.
I like it to be
graphics.
smooth. I'm sorry.
It's not what it's about, man. It's about story. It's about aesthetic. It's about giving, the character their due.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe I don't
Watch
know.
it.
It's actually really.
Is it
good.
on Disney Plus?
I'm not sure. It might be on Netflix.
It's
I
on
don't have
Netflix. I'm
Netflix.
pretty sure.
I don't have it.
I mean, I have the DVD.
I canceled Netflix. The whole child porn thing kind of drove me off of that.
That's a different story again, but.
But, yes, that's awesome. Does Doctor Strange come out?
Yep.
That's going to be crazy.
I'm excited for that one as well.
Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness. Heck yes.
That is this year.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So,
There are other Marvel movies coming up. I'm not as excited for them as I am actually for the.
is there anything else coming out this year?
Thor: Love and Thunder. I thought was supposed to.
Is
come
it?
out.
Yeah, that might be.
Oh, there's a new Thor movie?
Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah. I love Thor. That's
And
gonna
I
be good.
think the next Black Panther was supposed to come out this year. Or has that been updated next year?
I'm not sure.
That one might have been updated to next
I
year.
think that one.
Weston, stop doing that. It's really loud on the mics.
No, but
Trust me, when I edit those, it's loud.
it's all right. What else? I think that's. I think Black Panther actually might be
Is it moved back?
postponed because of injury on set and stuff and COVID.
Mm-hmm. I can believe
I'm not
that.
sure.
I'm not 100% sure on that one either. I'm just trying to go off
That
of what
is
I
gonna
remember
be-
here.
I feel like that's going to be a big letdown anyway because of their idiotic decisions with not recasting Black Panther.
I thought they gave it to someone else, right?
T'Challa, they're not recasting T'Challa. They're giving Black Panther to other people,
Mhm.
Oh.
which I
Okay.
think is a big mistake because T'Challa is it. But that's all right. We'll see how it goes. I'm sure it'll be all right. I don't know.
We hope.
I'm looking forward to hopefully 2022 having more well-done things than 2021. I think 2021, in a sense, especially video games-wise, it was a huge letdown.
Oh, yeah.
I actually agree with that.
There was really one good game that I enjoyed that came out in 2021, and I've talked about it quite a bit the last few times. So
I enjoy Halo. That was really a big one for me, but I don't know. That's about it.
Those are the main things that I was looking forward to.
Oh.
Even then some.
I think I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure A Devil is a Part-Timer Season
Yes.
2 is coming out this year.
Yes.
is that an anime?
Yes.
Okay.
So good.
Also, I'm pretty sure Made in Abyss Season 2 is supposed to come out.
Oh, yeah. Heck yes.
And again, I'll probably bring that up for a time when we actually go through just what anime we're looking
Two
for.
huge ones I've been waiting for forever, aside
Mm-hmm.
from Bleach. So 3.
3 big series coming out.
Well, there you go. As long as you guys are excited, but
We are.
It's time for
we
you to
are-
jump on the bandwagon.
I can't.
You can. You're just
You
refusing.
you are a Monster
can't.
Hunter man, Terraria. I know.
That's all he talks about. I know.
I haven't played it. It's not really my thing. I guess.
Terraria
Well,
talks
Logan
more
was
about
actually
Monster
playing
Hunter
it the
than
other
anything.
day.
Hopefully, the new expansions and stuff that come out are your jam. You know.
But you guys good to wrap up then?
I think I'm good.
All right. So this has been episode 30 of Uncalled For, where we had 3 people, 0 Logans. Once again, rip Logan. Where every single Monday night, though, we get together here on twitch.tv/Huge Media Studios and, talk nonsense, kind of like we did tonight. Get 4 topics, and then we upload those topics the next week on YouTube. Or if you're a subscriber here on Twitch, you get to watch it as soon as it's over. If you missed the live show, you can watch it at any point in time during the week. So thanks for watching, guys. Been a blast as always. And we will see you right back here next week, 7 p.m.
Adios.
Take care.
Bye-bye.